I'm going to talk about base 10 numbers. In our number system, we use base 10, and I'm mainly focusing on whole number place values. Now, when we get into decimals in a few weeks, I'll be talking about decimal place values, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to be focusing on whole number place values. Now, let's go ahead and talk about, I'll go ahead and show you the place values. This is going to be our decimal point, and any number to the right of this decimal point would represent a number that's less than 1. And that's when we talk about decimals. We'll be focusing on those place values. But for now, we're going to be focusing to the left of this decimal point. The first place is called the ones. The second is the tens. And I'm only going to go through, write out a couple, maybe 4 or 5. There's many more, but for the purpose of this class, we'll only be really focusing on maybe 5 or 6 different place values. So I'll go 10 thousands. I'll do one more. I'll do 100 thousands. Okay, like I said, there's many more. The one that comes after this is going to be millions. Okay, and then you could go 10 millions, 100 millions, and then after that would be billions, and so on. Now, the thing that's special about a base 10 number system is that you can only use a choice of 10 digits per place value. So, for instance, we only have a choice of 10 different digits, and they're all going to be one-digit numbers for the ones place. Same with the tens place, or the hundreds place, and so on. So the 10 choices that we have to choose from starts at 0 and goes all the way to 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Those are our 10 choices, okay? We have 10 choices. Or 10, yeah, I'll write choices. Notice that they're all one-digit numbers. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you using base 10 blocks how we represent numbers. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to help you develop some conceptual understanding of our base 10 system. A lot of times people kind of skip over this part and get into the operations of whole numbers, and it's really important to understand place value because we're going to use place value in a number of ways. For instance, when we round, when we estimate, and just to understand the size of numbers, and to also it is helpful for you to develop some number sense. You kind of have to understand the size of numbers, and so that's going to be really helpful to understand our base 10 system. Anyway, I'm blabbering on. Let's get to it. I'm going to use, like I said, some base 10 blocks. These little squares represent 1 unit, and so say I have 4 pieces here, and so I'm going to write that as a 4. All right, now let's look at another number, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 9 in this group, and so I'm going to write it as a 9. Now notice that 4 and 9 are possible, that one of the 10 that we could choose from. Okay, so we've got 4 ones. So in this case, we had 4 ones, and then when we had another group, we had 9 ones. Okay. Now, what if we were to add another 1? Now, instead of 9, we have 9 plus 1. Now, 9 plus 1 is going to give us 10. We know that. But 10, notice, is not one of the choices that we can use per place value. So we cannot say 10 ones. Now, we can talk about 10 ones, and that makes sense when we do that, but to write 10 ones, we have to move over to the next place value and represent our new number using the 2 place values. So this is now going to become a 2-digit number, and you can see here this is a 2-digit number. How we get there, though, how we represent this number truly is to trade in these ones, these individual units, for what we call a rod. Now this rod is made up of 10 pieces, and if you can see the little squares, I don't know if the lighting is kind of hard to see, but you can count them up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this rod represents 110, and since we have no units left, it's only going to have 0 ones. So 110, 0 ones. Let's go ahead and look at some other, let me just do one other example with the trading with the tens. So you've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, I think I have 16 here. So now I'm counting 16. I can say 16 ones. You know, we can say that with our words. We can kind of, you know, that's another way to reference this. But we can't, when we're using place value, we want to represent it how it's really written here. So I need to trade out the 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to take that 10 and trade it with a rod, which represents 10. Okay? But notice this 10 means I only have 110, and what's left are my ones. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is where that 6 is represented. So I have 110 and 6 ones. So instead of saying 16 ones, I have 110 and 6 ones. Okay. All right. Now we can do the same thing when we're working with tens and we want to go up to the 3rd decimal place. So we'll just do an example there. Let's say we have 4. I'll just throw a bunch on here and then we'll count them out. All right, that's a lot of rods. We're going to have to count these out. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I were to write this out just using tens, I could say I have 12 tens. Okay, but notice 12 is not one of my choices. You know, I can't put 12 here in my tens place. Okay, because I can only use 1 digit, and 12 is not an option for me here. I only have 0 through 9. So I want to trade in 10 of those tens. Okay, I'm going to take away 10 tens because I can only really have up to 9 tens. 9 tens is okay, but then that would leave me 3 tens left. So if I take away 10 tens and trade that for this is called a flat, for 100, 100, so 100, okay, that's going to take the place of my 12, of my 10 tens, okay, and then what's left are my 2 tens, so 2 tens. So 100, and then you add, and then combine that with 2 tens, that's the same thing as 12 tens, which I had here. But if you're going to use our place value base 10 number system, we have to regroup. We need to trade those 10 tens into 100, and then that would give us the proper way to write it. So now we've got 100 and 2 tens, and we have 0 ones. Let's do a little recap here, because I don't want to give you too many examples. I think this is enough to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So recap, place values in the base 10 system can only have one digit. Okay, one digit per place value. Okay, that's key. The second thing that's important to note is that once we've exceeded the 9, okay, the largest one digit, we must trade in, okay? So a number larger than 9, this is a larger than or greater than symbol, and we'll talk about that in another video, but a number larger than 9 must be traded to a larger place value. Okay, so when we had 11 ones, okay, so 11 ones, so 8, 9, 10, 11 ones. 11 is a 2-digit number, okay? So instead of saying 11 ones, we're going to trade in the 10 ones for 110, and then I have one left over, so 110 and 1 is going to give us our number, and the way we write that is 1 1 or 11. Now this looks like the same thing, but the way we're describing it kind of gives us an idea of what's going on in terms of the place value. Okay, that's all for this video. I'm going to move on and talk about some other things regarding place value in other videos. Let me know if you have any questions in class.